I'm here today to testify in opposition to AB126, and I appreciate the opportunity to do so. Although there are provisions in this legislation that I find particularly disturbing, what concerns me the most is the underlying rationale. Proponents of this legislation claim that legalizing the carrying of concealed weapons will increase personal safety and decrease violent crime. These claims are wrong. There is in fact no credible research indicating that a law allowing people to carry guns in public makes individuals or their communities safer. To support the more guns, less crime view, proponents of liberal CCW laws cite the research of one economist, John Locke, who has claimed that CCW laws are an effective method of reducing crime. While it's true that during the period Locke studied, crime fell in the states that passed lenient concealed weapons laws, it's also true that during those same years, crime fell all across the country, including in states that did not change their gun-carrying laws. For example, because its crime rates fell after passing a CCW law in 1987, Florida has been called a shall-issue success story. The missing piece of this story, however, is that in 1986, prior to the passage of the law, Florida had the highest violent crime rate in the country. 15 years later, Florida still had the highest violent crime rate in America. By contrast, Wisconsin had the 11th lowest violent crime rate in 1986, and during that same study period, improved to the 6th lowest. After carefully reviewing Locke's work, eminent scholars found serious flaws in his methods, and more importantly, in the validity of his findings. Researcher after researcher concluded that Locke's studies are so seriously flawed that using them to formulate public policy is dangerous and irresponsible. Even Gary Klepp, a researcher often aligned with the pro-gun lobby, found, quote, "There is no evidence that carrying a concealed weapon has a deterrent effect." He further stated it is more likely that the declines in crime coinciding with relaxation of carry laws were largely attributable to other factors. Clearly, these laws are not effective in decreasing crime, but worse, they may actually lead to increases, particularly of firearm deaths. In an article appearing in the Journal of Criminal Law and Criminology, researchers summarized, quote, "Advocates of shall-issue laws argue that they will prevent crime and suggest that they have reduced homicides in areas that adopt them. Our analysis provides no support for the idea that the laws reduced homicides. Instead, it finds evidence of an increase in firearm murders. Many other researchers have come to the same or similar conclusions. Concealed carry laws do not have a benefit at the societal level, but what about the personal level? Proponents claim that CCW offers individuals an unparalleled method of self-defense. Researchers and other experts across the country have unequivocally disagreed. For example, research published in the American Journal of Public Health found, quote, "The net impact of owning a handgun or having a family member own a handgun is to increase appreciably, not decrease, the risk of violent death." Furthermore, a study from the University of North Carolina found that the risk of employees being murdered is 5 to 7 times greater in businesses that allow guns than in businesses that prohibit them.
You're down to 30 seconds.
Okay. Not surprisingly, a nationwide survey conducted by the Society of Human Resource Management found that approximately 85% of employers prohibited weapons on their premises. Creating good public policy requires legislators to weigh the benefits and the risks for both individuals and for the public at large. With regard to citizens carrying guns in public, the evidence is clear. The risks for individuals and for the public outweigh any potential benefits, which is why we are asking you to vote against this legislation. We understand that the legislation has quite a bit of momentum and that it's likely to move forward. We've come up with a list of changes that we would like to see, but since I'm out of time, I will simply submit them to you.
Okay, and you have those written down?
I do.
Do we have a copy of that yet?
You don't yet.
Okay, good. We'll give them to the sergeant. Copy. Any questions?
I would like to ask at least one question, if I could. And that is, what's the position of your organization regarding regarding training.
Regarding training, it is one of the things that we would recommend, that it would be similar to what is required in the bill for retired law enforcement officers.
All right, so there would be, you also have a question, a suggestion on how long a permit should be granted?
How long a permit should last?
How long a permit should
Well,
last?
I think that just like in the bill of what is required of retired law enforcement is that they recertify every year, and so we think that those rules should at least be that citizens should be at least required to match what retired law enforcement is expected to do.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. Can you tell me what group you were? I missed that in the introduction.
Absolutely, Wisconsin Anti-Violence Effort, which is WAVE.
Okay, thank you very much for your appearance. Charles? Yep, Charles is Mark Hurston.